Is the Rob Dibble Show, live from the Travelers Championship at the TPC River Highlands.
Back on the Rob Dibble Show with Ben Darnell on your afternoon drive. Henry Bieniemy is on the ones and twos back in Hartford. And Nick Federico, he is here on our YouTube video. And Jenna is here helping out as well today. So we appreciate everybody coming out here now that it's for real. And you got an update on the score, Ben?
I did. Wait, let me get you the Scotty update because he's
Scotty Scheffler was at 9 under. Did he bogey?
He did bogey 17. He falls back to -8, tied with Austin Eckert. Still -6 for Wyndham Clark, Rory McIlroy, Keegan Bradley. That's your top 5 right now.
We are joined now on the set by Chris Barrett from Hartford Healthcare Bone and Joint Institute. He is one of the top nutritionists on the planet. He looks fantastic. You look like you put on 10 pounds.
Yeah, what'd you do,
muscle.
dude? What'd you do?
I'm inspired by the last time I was on here.
Oh, no, you're not. You're lying.
You took a picture with both of us. You looked at it. You're like, wow, Dibs, Darnell, jacked. Me, skinny, mini.
Just practicing the basics, lifting weights. That's all we want to do for gaining some muscle mass.
Okay, what about eating? So you're the dietitian expert over there at the Bone and Joint Institute, Hartford Healthcare. When I do try to bulk up, what are the things I've been eating? And I've told you this before. When I was going from high school to college football, my trainer in college football said milkshakes and pizza.
Okay. So definitely different opinion there. But I would definitely say I think one of the things I would think about is for some people, for weight gaining, weight maintenance in general, a lot of people, protein's huge, right?
Right.
You really have to look at the fat content of that protein, right? Protein is not just protein. So when you look at like a piece of steak,
right,
there's going to be some fat there depending on the cut.
Now I'm looking at the actual steak and I'm looking for those white little parts. Now I'm sorry, Mr. Barrett, but that's called flavor.
It is, and that's also where some calories are too. But it's also in the meat too.
Okay,
and you can't remove that.
Right.
So in general, that's gonna be a little bit higher calorie. So somebody's looking to put on a little bit more weight, that might be a better option. But then you also have to look at, remember, in my world, it's human performance. You have to look at the human first. So if there's any family history of cardiovascular disease, things like that, that's the first thing that I'm thinking about.
Okay.
So.
Chris, we always marvel at the golfers and tennis players. They can't bulk up. They're trying to stay, where their chests aren't bulked up and they're not too tight and things like that. They need elasticity and things like that. What do you think they're eating? What do you think their nutritional needs are?
Well, I'm going to say I would say it's more than the average Joe thinks or Jane thinks, right? We think, just looking at now, it's super hot today. Just like baseball pitchers, this is right in your world, right? Dibs, is the idea of carbohydrates is super important. Every single swing is a power move. Every single pitch is a power move. So carbohydrates are really important for them. And you'll notice, though, you'll see bananas, you'll see those types of things. So carbohydrates is not the thing that's going to bulk people up. It's going to give them the power they need to go through 18 holes because they also have to walk it.
Right. Well, that's what I was going to ask. Is it somewhat similar to? I know it's not the same distance, but a marathon runner and a golfer, 4-hour to 6-hour situations as far as being an athlete. Even if you're just standing around and walking, swinging a club, or I don't know, 70 times.
Yeah.
But I'm sure, endurance is a thing. Hydration is a thing.
Yeah.
Just as far as being on peak performance, mentally as much as physically.
So that's the other thing, and especially a day like today, it's very humid, hot. Hydration is one of those things that can really affect concentration, how your decision making, viewing the greens. Just looking at, we just saw Fitzpatrick practicing putting. I saw him mix some type of electrolyte drink to his beverage.
Right.
That's important.
Do those powdered IVs work? What are your thoughts on that?
So it's a mixture there, right? So I definitely think the product, it depends on the brand. And you have to understand what you're actually looking for. So athletes that we've actually worked with, Trinity Hockey, we actually did a hydration assessment with the whole team. We looked at how much kids are sweating, how much they're losing, how much they need to replace. So you can really individualize, especially, that's why I love individualized sports like golf, tennis. You can really dial it in. Football team, baseball team, it's tough. You got a lot of kids. Basketball team is a little bit like that too, but for these athletes, you can have them weigh in before and after a round. However many pounds they lose of sweat, they have to replace 20 to 24 fluid ounces. So if you look at the typical bottle that we have right in front of us, 20 fluid ounces, one of those per pound you lose.
Okay.
So somebody who loses 3 pounds, they have to replace 3 of those. And most people are like, oh, I could do that. Try
It's not easy.
It's not.
No, it is not easy.
And that's over 2 hours, too. So that's not like you have to chug it.
But just straight water? What about electrolytes and other stuff?
Yeah, you can mix electrolytes in it. It all depends on your sweat composition.
So what kind of drinks are we looking for? Because you probably don't like ones with sugar in them.
Well,
Or is sugar good for you?
Yeah, after would be, because you just utilize carbohydrates every swing.
Okay.
So replacing it during, so sugars, carbohydrates have a role during and after to replace what you lost and actually to help you go all the way through 18 holes.
I know I've asked you this question before.
Yeah.
Should you be hydrating like a half hour before an event?
Yeah, I mean,
Because is it too late once the event starts, like golf, like a baseball game, to start, okay, now I'm going to pound water or Gatorade?
yeah, always be proactive versus reactive, right? So if you're like, oh man, I'm really thirsty now, well, it's too late.
Okay.
So you already missed that. Like, it's just like a marathon runner. Oh man, I'm feeling tired at mile 13. You should have been fueling at mile like 8, 9, 10 to get to that 13. Because carbohydrates, on average, from a beverage, from a sports drink, is going to take about 20 minutes to get to where it needs to go.
Now,
So, proactive.
You told me too, because I was telling you, like, I think a year ago or maybe the last time we saw you over there at Hartford Healthcare's Bone and Joint, man, I'm drinking a lot of water. I'm
Yep.
trying to get at least a gallon a day.
Yeah.
And you said, I hope you're getting some salt in there because you're just basically going through your body, peeing that out, and no benefits there. So explain that to the people why you need some salt.
I even think a gallon's pushing it, right? I mean, it depends on how much you're losing.
A gallon
right?
is pushing it.
Yeah, according
Okay.
to like just like the World Health Organization, it's about like 12 cups for males, 9 cups for females. So if you look at that, that's not too hard. It's just being consistent with that. But if you are a person where you have a hard time drinking water, which I always found interesting, just you can add electrolytes, you can add liquid IV, stuff like that to
Right.
it too.
But salt, like
Yeah.
you should, like a salt tablet is actually good for you.
So that's the different part, right? So you look at the electrolyte powders. What you probably want to look for is one that has sodium citrate in it.
Okay.
Right, sodium citrate's one of those things where it's usually a little bit less GI issues that's there. I would not recommend people just adding table salt to their water. All right,
Why?
so
Because it's iodized, right?
well, not even that. I think it's just for some people. It's like you don't know how much you're adding in there.
Is the pink salt the best salt?
Well, it's different.
Okay,
yeah,
it's
it's different.
different.
There's some other minerals to it, right? So you have the calcium, you have some magnesium to it, things like that. But it's very marginal.
So we're suckers.
Yeah.
For advertising
He
and
teaches
marketing,
this
right?
every time.
Yeah.
You teach
I
us
know.
this every
It's
time.
like
how
that,
dumb we
but
are.
everybody's out there screaming, "This is the best for you,"
Yeah.
and kind of it's a fear tactic.
It is, yeah. And I would say that's the other thing too is it might be good for that person. You want to work with a professional to sort of assist you, guiding you through those things. Yeah, that's a big pet peeve of mine as well.
The one thing you were talking about a couple minutes ago is replacing what you've displaced from your athletic
Yeah.
event. We had a kid on staff, shout out Keith Ridley, quarterback of Southern, and
Right.
he was on the team last year,
Yeah.
and it was like right around this time, maybe a month from now, so he was going through summer camp stuff, and me playing college football, I was just like, man, what are you doing now? Like, what are your camps like? What do you got to do? He's like, well, I got to go to weigh-in first before practice. I'm like, you're weighing in before?
Yeah.
And he's like,
See
yeah.
what he weighs after.
So then they weigh him after,
Yeah.
and he will not be allowed to practice until
Yeah.
he hits a certain weight again. And I'm like, that's mind blowing.
Well,
I was in
yeah.
2001, 2002. Now we're in 20. God, I'm old. 225. When did that start?
Yeah.
When did we start figuring that out?
I will say this. So I'm very lucky. So the organizations that I'm a part of, I get to work with a lot of those individuals who are at like the bigger colleges. That is standard.
Yeah.
Especially at, like, you look at the Big Ten schools, right? You look at all these the big Ohio States, right? They are weighing kids in and out every day before they leave the facility.
Right.
They have to hit a certain weight. Otherwise, they don't leave.
When did we start doing this? How did this all get started?
Well, I think it's more of the safety aspect, right? So if you even look at, like, we're very lucky in Connecticut, Corey Stringer Institute.
Yep.
Right? That was the real thing that sort of set this all off about the importance of hydration, right? It was very important about just heat exhaustion, heat stroke, right? Stuff like that. So I do think that's when it really kicked off. But that's when also we looked at, like, water is important. Oh, we can add electrolytes to that? So those are the types of things where that's what I think really kicked it off.
Yeah, and I was blessed with the Reds. We had Fritz Hagerman and his wife. They were part of the Olympic team
Yeah.
and the runners and field. He was at the University, or Ohio, the Ohio State.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the stuff that they did. I mean, when they used to measure our body weight, we had to go there. They dipped us in a water tank.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
water
just
displacement. I love it. That was
but they were the
actual,
first ones to
baby.
be busting our chops on you're eating too many cheeseburgers, you're eating too much of this, too much dairy,
Yeah.
too much. I mean, and like again, so our biggest thing was flexibility and nutrition.
Yeah.
And in spring training, they would like give you $50 to be flexible, be able to touch your toes, go by your toes and
Sure.
stuff like. My athletes, my 16U team, most unflexible
Sure.
young men I've ever seen.
Sure.
They're doing like that standing up stretching stuff. I mean,
Like dynamic warm-up.
Dynamic warm-up.
Yeah.
What
Yep.
are your thoughts on that?
I think it's good. I think there is a role though for flexibility, right? It just is that going to hamper performance, right? Because if you're hypermobile, and this is Steph Barassa,
Oh, yeah.
she knows all this stuff, right? The bone and joint.
Best
if you come to the
physical
PTs
therapists
here,
in the game.
they're the best for sure. They're the ones that I've learned a ton from. But if somebody's hypermobile, right, you're not going to stretch that person. So that's where, once again, it's more individualized. And I think we're moving to that direction.
Chris Barrett, Hartford Healthcare, dietitian, the Bone and Joint Institute. I don't know if this is your world or not, but heat exhaustion out here might be a situation on Sunday or maybe all through
And
the
it's
weekend.
already hot, and it's going to get hotter.
What was it, like 4 years ago that the EMS stopped me and was like,
Yeah,
you don't look so good.
They just could tell by the color of your skin.
Right, and I had no idea. I'm like, oh man, I feel good. And they're like,
No,
get in
you
the
don't.
car
Great.
and let's go. And I'm like, okay, you must know more than me. And I followed their protocol.
Yeah.
They gave me a core temperature. I was way hotter than what I expected. What are those things though? Like, I was lucky. I got spotted by people that are professionals. If you're out there, what are some symptoms that maybe you're feeling that aren't necessarily normal and you think you're just going to get through it? But no, this is serious. Get some water, get some shade.
That's the importance of the athletic trainer, right? You look at the athletic trainers, that's why they're on the field, and those are people that save lives all the time, right? But yeah, you'll begin to see, remember, heat exhaustion, then we get to heat stroke.
What's
stroke
the
is
difference?
Totally different, right? Life-threatening, and one is like the precursor to the other.
Okay.
Right, so heat exhaustion is first. You might notice somebody's just a little bit more confused, right? They're just like they stop sweating. There's all these different.
Stop sweating.
That's your body's
where you get,
way
like, the heat stroke.
of trying to keep the liquids in.
Yeah, and then what will happen is.
But that's too late, right?
Yeah,
Like,
well, that's when
feeling faint is too late.
That's when they'll dunk you in like to a pool to get your body temperature low, an ice pool, and they usually have one of those on the sidelines. But yeah, that's the part of like nutrition here, right? So like think about, here's a cool one. You guys know slushies or Slurpees.
Hell yeah, we do.
If you drink that, before you exercise, that slushy will actually get down and it'll reduce your core temperature longer.
Oh, cool.
Because that cold stuff's going through you.
Totally.
Wow.
So again, you can use these things, and there's some pretty cool sports products out there, which now you have like they're ice pops, but they're ice pops that are sports drinks.
So they got electrolytes in the ice pops.
And carbohydrates.
We're talking ices, the little sleeves that I can eat about 20
that's
at a
good
time.
To know.
Yeah, but
give it my guys. So like we're gonna have a bunch of games this weekend. It's our first tournament.
Yeah.
We'll be at Trinity. We're gonna be at Eastern Connecticut. I think there's another one that's in Hartford that we're supposed to play at. But my thing is like we play 2-3 games in a day.
Sure.
And these guys are in full uniforms. It's hot, and most of the time they're eating crap.
Sure.
They're eating Dippin' Dots, and I yell at them. So my wife tries to give them Gatorade and other stuff. What do you recommend?
Yeah. So that's the other
Like
thing.
even popsicles would be okay.
Totally. If you can bring them there for sure. But this is the time.
The moms can when they're not drinking like their
margaritas.
Yeah, exactly. 10 a.m. They're drinking.
They're
like whatever
frozen
it is,
such
I know.
slushies.
There you go. Yeah, but don't
Not
mix
easy
them
to
up.
watch a lot of baseball.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Well,
here.
Dibs is used to that because we had the coffee that was with the, what were they called, the greenies, and we had a piece of tape
my
on,
God,
and then we had the coffee that was
super
regular.
unleaded,
So
super
you need to teach the wives as far
Yep.
as the slushies go, which ones are the goods. And
But I will say this: you will notice with your players, there'll be a delay in reaction time for those who are dehydrated. It will be visibly for you because you watch the game differently than I would. But you'll probably notice a reaction time difference at bat. Right, somebody might be just slower to get to the ball.
Right.
That's where dehydration can sort of manifest itself in baseball. But staying on top of it.
Is it quantifiable as far as the mental stuff? To where you're dehydrated and you're not really as sharp mentally as what you could be.
Well, that's what you just talked about, decision making.
Yeah.
But
when you
still,
get dehydrated.
is it quantifiable? Like, do we have statistics out there
I
at all
wish there
on
was a
this
metric
stuff?
for that. In research, there is, but I was going to say probably in like the field method, it's very, very challenging to do. Super challenging to do.
Well, there's been times where I've been out there and going back to my playing career where it was 135 on the turf, and I'm not out there that long.
Right.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like it was like I was seeing all kinds of spots and all kinds of stuff, and I was ready to go down, and I wasn't taking greenies and stuff like that. So is that about nutrition?
Yeah.
What I wanted, I know we don't have that much time left with you, but I wanted to talk about anti-inflammatory foods. What are some things that because I don't want to tell my 16U kids to take Advil or take anything that could eat up their stomach with the ibuprofen.
Sure.
So is there anything they could eat to kind of keep their elbows attack their joints and stuff like that, and
Well, I mean,
give them anti-inflammatory
I would
properties?
definitely say variety of fruits and vegetables. That's number one.
Okay.
Right? If your kid is not eating like X number of vegetables in a day, that's a problem, right? A good challenge for people who are listening too is aiming for like 20 to 30 varieties of fruits and vegetables in a day. There's a research study that actually demonstrates that can actually improve your microbiome, your gut bacteria, which again could influence inflammation.
Right.
Then you look at other things from inflammation standpoint, high fats, high refined sugars when you shouldn't be consuming those. But like when you're playing, having sugar is fine because it's going to help you play. Timing, that's good. But anti-inflammatory, turmeric has a strong role. I would definitely say that. Tart cherry juice is another one. So these are all things that you can sort of maneuver around. It won't be when you're playing. It'll be like before bed, stuff like that too.
I love this. We're getting so much slushies. Slushies
Slushy's not
before-
bad when
Yeah,
you're overheated.
totally.
Yep.
Especially at the beginning of the workout. A variety of vegetables to improve your gut health. I love all this stuff.
Yeah.
Now, Chris Barrett, you can find him in the virtual kitchen over there at the Bone and Joint, which is so cool, man. It's totally interactive. You can film a bunch of stuff. You're always cooking us stuff. It sucks that we're not there because we don't get any of your veggie burgers that you make
I know.
us. But you guys work with Trinity all the time. What are some other things that you're doing, like kind of in the off season, I guess,
Yeah.
with some of these athletes in June, July, August?
Well, I'll say this, even before that, we had our first New England Sports Nutrition Conference.
Oh, cool.
Which was great. We had world-renowned speakers. It was great, well-received. So hopefully we'll be doing another one that's to be announced, but definitely think about that. But the off-season, we're doing a lot of things to help other sports dietitians. You guys know this world in Connecticut. You look at Midwest, Southeast. We're really focusing on trying to enhance the dietitians that want to become sports dietitians in Connecticut. So we're trying to help out, outreach, provide access.
Chris Barrett, thank you so much for coming on today.
No, this is awesome. I love it.
We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back from Cromwell Travelers Championship.